Hey everybody, Dan Jackson, aka Dan's the Engineer here. I'm just doing this video just to clear a couple of things up and just to clarify what Dan's the Engineer is and what it's all about. So I posted a video recently about replacing a consumer unit and kind of the procedures in which you need to do it in, and I got some fantastic feedback from people agreeing, saying, oh, that's great, it's a great video, and also done a blog post. But I received some sort of negative feedback, and don't get me wrong, I don't mind criticism, it's all cool. But what they were saying was that I was suggesting that when you change a consumer unit, you should do a test beforehand, so you do an EICR beforehand, and I've put my reasons why. But what generally happens in the industry is people change a fuse board, they don't have any records or anything like that, they just change a fuse board, they put it back on, and then they test afterwards, and that can create quite a bit of risk because there might be safety aspects. It's not following trade industry guidelines or standards that we should be following. There's a lot of them out there, and what happens is a lot of the time is someone changes a fuse board and they'll do their test or whatever, and sometimes it just gets left like that, and actually sometimes it's dangerous because there are immediately dangerous items on the installation, and it's a bit of an oversight, and the client is none the wiser. They're a consumer, they haven't got a clue about electrics, they haven't got a clue about the ins and outs, they've just paid their 600 quid or whatever, and they've got the new consumer unit, happy days. They're like, oh, fantastic, it's all safe, it's all good. But it's not strictly true. Now, there's a difference between doing something properly and doing something what everybody else does. They're two very, very different things. So I just want to clear up about what Dan's the Engineer is all about. Now, I set out my whole alias, Dan's the Engineer, which is that's me. I set it up in, I think it was 2016, 2017, when I started posting stuff on social media, on LinkedIn, bits on Twitter, but I do more on Twitter now than I did back then, LinkedIn and YouTube. So I set my YouTube up. The whole ethos of Dan's the Engineer is to help raise standards, highlight issues, and produce and help with solutions for the industry in general. It was about talking to manufacturers, talking to trade bodies, talking to clients, talking to contractors, electricians, everyone in between. It's the whole industry, everybody, and getting people together and kind of giving like an impartial point of view. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a contractor by trade, I'm an electrician by trade, so obviously I'm always going to be for the contractors. That's my game. They're the people I generally stick up for. But I do have a genuine passion for electrical safety for the general public, stopping people getting hurt, getting injured. Ultimately, as an electrician, Electricity at Work Regulations 1989, that's ultimately what we're doing. We're stopping people getting hurt, getting injured, causing fires. That's what we should be doing. That is the first and foremost principle of everything we touch with electrics. We make sure people do not get hurt. Now, how do we do that? We follow standards. We educate ourselves. There's loads of technical documents out there. We make sure we're sticking to the standards. Now, it's very easy for someone to become an electrician, do a little course, as we all know, they do these little courses, and now they're an electrician. Now, it's a very easy route into the game. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not always an easy route because there's lots of battles becoming registered with a CPS, getting your gold card, whatever route you want to take. Obviously, there are battles if you do the short courses, so the odds are against you. However, these people can go into people's homes, they can change fuse boards, they can do kitchen refits, you can get plumbers changing fuse boards if they do a little course, and happy days, Part P registered, all this old bollocks, and it has completely fucked the industry ultimately. So the whole point and the whole ethos of Dan's the Engineer is highlighting what we should be doing to raise everything up. Now, this is my theory. This is my theory, and I believe it works. If I raise everybody up around me in my network, in my little bubble that I work in, I raise everybody up around me, right? Everyone's working to a higher standard, right? So I'm raising a bar. Now, I've done this with competitors of mine. So I might have competitors in a circle of clients who always bump into each other, always quoting jobs against each other. Now, I would always strive for the standards. Now, I would never drop my price to match theirs, right? I would always do it on what I think is right. Now, I used to attract decent clients because of that, because they actually valued what I brought to the table. They wanted quality. Now, you can be an electrician and you can do dog shit work all day long and you can get dog shit clients. I wanted to be in the Premiership. I didn't want conference football. I wanted the Premiership. So I used to do decent electrics, high standards, good quality, good company, great customer care. I wanted the money I deserved. And in the meantime, I wanted to raise standards. And some of my competitors, when I left contracting, right, some of them called me up and said, thank you so much for raising the game for us. It helped everybody learn, everybody understand, because it's easy to go down a slippery slope. Everyone talks about the race to the bottom. It's easy because it's downhill, it's gravity, mate. Go downhill, it's a race to the bottom, it's easy. And they said, thank you for helping raise standards. And, you know, they are my competitors. I still talk to some of them. It was a good business relationship because the way I saw it, there was loads of work for everybody. There's loads of work in this game, so all the good guys can take their piece, right? I didn't need all of it. I couldn't cope with all of it. I literally couldn't cope with every single job that come my way. So if I didn't get a tender, it might be a £50,000 job. It's not the end of the world. I'll get the next one. I'll get the third one. It's all cool. Everybody can have a piece of the pie. But if I'm making sure everybody is raising a bar up, right? So we're doing, and you know, we're charging decent money. We're doing a decent job, right? It keeps the market value high. Now, when you get all these diluted electricians, all these ball-in-a-bag electricians, and they're charging lower money because they're not doing things correctly, they haven't got the right insurances, they haven't got the right procedures in place. It could be something silly like waste carrier licenses. Ever heard of that? I bet none of them have heard of that sort of stuff. You know, all these things that cost money, what it does, that's where the price should be, the market value, really. If you kept to the standards and you've got all these dilutes in it, and what it does, it drains it down. So instead of you want to be there and it's there, what we're doing is the market value of the electrician's going down, and more people are at the bottom doing the bottom type of work. The top stuff goes down and down and down and down. Trust me, that's how it works. So the whole ethos of Dan's the Engineer, I've never published before, but it's something I'm really passionate about, because when someone turns around to me and says, but everybody does it like this, so I'm competing against 5 other people in my area that, you know, they're not doing things properly, and obviously I can't compete by pricing a job to do it correctly, to do it to standards. And they're sort of having a pop at me saying, well, why are you advising this? The whole point of this video is I'm explaining why my whole ethos is about raising the game, right? And when Paul Meenan, right, founder of E5, he came to me, I remember he messaged me on LinkedIn and he said, you're an E5 guy. And I was like, what the hell is E5? I had no idea. Started talking to Paul. It's because I was posting stuff about the electrical game that was a bit of a bugbearer, and where I was trying to say, this is what we need to do, this is what we need to do. I was highlighting issues and I was creating solutions. I was doing blog posts, I was doing videos, I was doing all sorts, right? And he came to me and he told me about the whole ethos of E5, and what an honour to be part of E5, being asked by Paul to contribute, to be a founding member of E5, to produce what it was in the beginning. What an absolute honour. Someone has come to me, because ultimately what I'm talking to you about is the ethos of E5. And you know, it is such an honour for someone like Paul to come to me and say, literally, I want you to be part of this. Wow. Isn't that great? That's one of the best achievements of my career. And everything I try and do, I business coach now, because I got out of contracting. I'll talk about that in a second. I got out of contracting, and my whole ethos with my business owners that I deal with, again, is about raising the game. Let's educate ourselves. Let's get qualified. Let's get all of our guys are competent. Everybody's raising the game up, right? And we're working for the decent clients. We don't want to work for the dog shit clients. We don't want to work for them. There'll be people who work for them, but we want to make sure we're meeting all legislation, all industry standards, all industry guidelines, right? And we're doing things properly. They're the people I want to work for. So don't get me wrong. I could lower my standards and I could probably create coaching that would benefit a lot of people, but it's not ethical. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be part of that. I live my life in an ethical manner. I'm very conscious about the things I do and surround me. I don't overthink it, because I think you can go a little bit nuts sometimes. So, you know, I got out of contracting because there was many reasons personally, which I don't need to go into, but also I loved contracting, but I also hated it at the same time. I hated going to jobs and seeing dog shit work. Right, I hated quoting a job, going back there 6 months later, whatever, and someone who undercut me by £100 on a £500 job has done a dog shit job, and I'm now having to pay to rip it out, which costs the customer money, and then installing what I priced originally. right? I used to do a lot of work repairing other people's work. Now, don't get me wrong, it's almost like its own little economy, and obviously revenue for me for rectifying cowboys' work. Happy days, I'm earning money. It's such a bugbear of mine because everything I've done from when I was apprentice is all about pride. Where the hell is the pride in this game? With any trade, not just electrics, with plumbing, with any trade, with brickwork, you name it, right? Where is the pride? The pride should be there. It shouldn't always be about rush in, rush out. That's the massive problem with this country and a lot of other countries where it's all about rush, 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 rush. We live in such a rushed world. Just slow down. We need to do things properly. And when it comes to safety, there's absolutely and utterly no excuse for rushing around, because when you rush, that's when problems happen. When you've got a team of guys working for you and you're putting so much pressure on them to do jobs, you'll get trying to ram 4 electrical installation condition reports in a day in domestic properties. What are you going to get from that? They're going to be rushed if you put people on price work in a certain manner, right? And there's no quality assurance or checks within your organisation. What are you going to get? You're going to get dog shit. And ultimately, we need to make sure we are keeping people safe. So when I started up Dan's the Engineer YouTube channel, simply because I was so fed up with hearing all these competitors that call themselves electricians in my area, in my line of work, bumping into them and just seeing the utter crap that they're coming out with. And I know it seems crazy that I created this big thing, my YouTube channel and loads of stuff on social media for that reason. But if I can just contribute a tiny, tiny section within my local area, that to me was success and made me happy. And I've done that. I've achieved that. In fact, I've achieved more than what I thought I would with it. So that made me very, very happy. So I understand how hard contracting is. I understand commercial pressure. I've run a business. I get it. I get it. I understand we're very led by clients. But there's so many things us as contractors we can do to influence up in the game. Trust me. So Dan's the Engineer now. Obviously, I'm a business coach. I help business owners with management procedures, with marketing, with sales, creating and developing their business in ethical ways. And obviously I do work for a lot of electricians simply because that is my background, that's my game. I work for other people too, and actually I love it. I love, no matter what it is, I do love. I can relate to it in any way. I love dealing with people, and the great thing is I attract my client, and they're such lovely people. Every single one of my clients is such a gem. Honestly, we have a good laugh. Some of us, we have banter. It's really enjoyable. It's really fun, and I want to go out of my way to help them more than actually what they're paying for. And vice versa. I'm sure that they would help me out in certain situations too. It's a good relationship, and that's how I do business. It's all about relationships, all with people. It's not about bottom cost all the time. That's what I'm not about. So yeah, Dan's the Engineer started from when I was a contractor, trying to raise the game. I'm doing it in a different way now, but ultimately that's still my ethos. That's what I still strongly believe. I'm truly passionate about the electrical industry. As much as I went traveling and put it at the back of my mind, right deep down, it's still there. You don't get out of that. You can't put it away. Anyway, guys, so it was a bit of a rant, this video. I sometimes have to get things off my chest. Sometimes I have to, say this because I'm a passionate guy. I say what I feel. My emotions can come out in this, and this is what I love about. I can just put on my channel. A lot of people do oppose me. Honestly, I get so many messages of people, like hate messages, trolling. So many people, like the other day, someone sent some nasty comments saying about, various things I've said and calling me all sorts of swear words and whatever. And I'm just like, I really don't care. It's just little words to me, just little words. Words are powerful to some people, meaningless to others. It depends on what way you look at it. Anyway, guys, see you later. Bye.